Let me see. Let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me. Use me as a vessel.
Gross.
Nothing.
Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lungs, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test.
Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested.
Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake. I think we found the ghost.
Jake won't let you see your mentions. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like, you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like, all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, you know, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this.
You didn't set me up right.
How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do they do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings,
Yeah.
shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. What's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
you imagine being that sensitive? Like you,
Well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
Polite about it.
It's just not the polite way to have sex.
That's just really one way to have sex that's polite, and it's to say, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise!
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it. You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism! And they say, they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil's drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and
You feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use Kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person. You don't understand how all this works. So let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off and you crush your fucking heel, right? It's all shattered. The doctor 10, 15 years ago was like, that's fucked up. That really hurts. You're gonna need some opioids to kill that pain. And then the DEA says, no, you can't have those anymore. These doctors have to tighten up their prescriptions. And now you don't have any. You can't afford them. What do? You can take Kratom. It has the same effects, it's less addictive, and it's more gross. So that even brings down the use. You're not gonna use it as much. Kratom kills the pain in your body. It also cures social anxiety.
The government's solution to stuff like this is always prohibition, which means putting more people in jail.
How big is your appetite for the war on drugs? I'm sure it's small. It's shrinking every single day. Don't let them continue it. Don't let them outlaw more stuff.
Good point.
Thank you.
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here.
Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try.
I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it.
This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts.
So this is where the ghost lives, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see, let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me. Use me as a vessel.
Gross.
Nothing.
Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio.
Hell yeah. Bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lungs, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test. Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're going to get drug tested. Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake. I think we found the ghost. Jake won't let you see your mention. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like, you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like, all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, you know, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this.
You
at
didn't
all.
set me up right.
How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do they do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings,
Yeah.
shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
Can you imagine being that sensitive? Like you,
Well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
Polite
It's
about
just
it.
not the polite way to have sex.
That's just really one way to have sex that's polite, and it's to say, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say, that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise!
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it.
You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. It's that time of the week. Can you believe it? Wednesday night already is here. It's basement show time. Brian and I are doing a little earlier than before. We took a week off of the video content. We're kind of ahead a few episodes. Over on patreon.com you can watch our bonus video content where we watch movies like Sold My Soul for Rock and Roll or Pump Up the Volume. We also have a show called Undercover Business Tyrants where we watch Undercover Boss and make comments about it. So We took the week off, so we're a little early tonight. Thanks for joining us, people. If this is your first time, you can always watch us on live stream on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. That's right, Facebook is back. I figured out how to accept Facebook's demerits, their digital demerits. I accepted them, and then the issue went away, and then I got my posting skills back. So we are back on the Facebook. My name is Brett. My co-host is Brian with Street Fight Radio, #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We've been doing it for 9 years now, and we are getting closer and closer to the world that we believe in. One where the billionaires will pay for their crimes, and the rest of us will have happy times. So, thanks for being here. We are starting off as a podcast, tight-knit group of cool folks, ready to spread this mess across the U.S., and we're getting bigger and better every single day. We have lots of new things coming during quarantine. There's going to be new streaming capabilities. The zine's getting back on track, and I don't know if we'll be seeing any of your wonderful faces this year, but we are prepared to be available 24/7. Not really, just really from midnight to 5 a.m. Me and Brian are kind of battling for that time to stream. We're both like, I feel like I can just stream for 5 hours in the middle of the night. So that's where we're at. I'm back. I'm in living the Brian life. You dragged me all the way to your wake up afternoon life. That's where I'm at.
Damn, I'm living the midnight to 10 life.
Midnight
now.
to 10.
Or
okay.
One
Okay.
or 2 to 10.
That's not bad.
I'm getting up around 10. Yeah.
Are you just bored? You just go to bed because you're bored?
Nothing to fucking do. It's just like, I don't want to watch TV in bed anymore.
Okay.
I've decided that I don't want to watch TV or look at my phone when I'm laying in bed because I feel like I sleep better if I don't do those two things.
Well, that's great.
So
you should do the stuff you should do the things that improve your life.
So once I'm done, it's just like, once I'm done doing whatever I'm doing, which is usually podcasting,
sure.
I just walk right into the room that's right next to the room that I podcast in, and I lay down in my bed and go to sleep.
Yeah. I did a podcast yesterday, the Free Tote Bag podcast. It's a dating advice podcast, and it was a lot of fun. I got to talk about shit that I don't normally get to talk about. That link will be coming soon. I also did the Vague Booking podcast with Carter and Jacob last weekend, so that should be hitting soon. I am getting more podcasting done than ever before, but trying to chill it out because I will crash and burn if I try to take on a bunch of work right now. So
yeah, I go back and forth on it because like last week I didn't do very much at all.
Right.
And then this week I'm doing so much, but next week it's, light schedule again.
Yeah, I go even schedule.
I'm going back and forth of like, okay, this week I'll do a whole bunch, and then next week I won't do I'll just do these 3 shows. I usually do the Holy Boys happens as it goes, so I'm unfortunately not out ahead on that one and just having to do them every week. But
they're good shows. What do you do? Which one is the most recent one?
Today, John Hagee came out. He is a doomsday guy. He's an antichrist hunter.
Fun.
Basically. He's a fun one. I mean, it's really weird because, like, I ain't come up in the church or anything like that, so I didn't know the subtle differences, or not even subtle. It's like there's so many different genres of preacher.
Yeah.
That I just, like, last night, 2 nights ago, we recorded the Mark Driscoll episode, and this guy's like Joe Rogan type.
Oh, cool.
Like, he's like edgy. He curses, and he like talks about the biblical.
Is he buff?
No, he looks like a security guard that wears tactical gear.
Okay.
Kind of guy.
Yeah.
That vibe. Like a cop. He looks a lot like a cop. Like a real cop.
Right.
Not like a movie cop where they're all like handsome and they can... I was watching, what the fuck movie was I? The Bourne movies. So me and my wife watched the Bourne movies 2 weeks ago. And I was like, there's a car chase in that movie. Now, I am a suspend disbelief guy. I totally get why they did this, and don't be like, oh, it's a movie, you know? But God, the cops in the car chases, the cops on motorcycles have no bearing. Like, there's no real life reference point for, like, cops on, like, badass dirt bike motorcycles being able to chase down perps. Because they're all, like, fat guys on huge hogs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you've never seen, like, cops, like really keeping up with somebody, you know? They would never be able to do that.
I don't know. I feel like have you ever seen those cops do their training exercises on them big ass bikes?
Sure, they might do that, but I don't think they would. I don't think they can. For the thing's got those big side saddles on them and shit. They don't even drive dirt bikes, man.
No, it's definitely not dirt bikes.
They ride cops in movies ride like dirt bikes or like a Ninja or a Kawasaki type dirt bike.
Yeah, that's
bike,
definitely,
you know?
I've never seen that.
That's not what cops ride. You know, cops ride like the big hog, like almost a car motorcycles. And I can't imagine them chasing Jason Bourne across a city, you know, and putting their life at risk, like, you know, jumping over, like driving down steps and shit like that on their motorcycles. It's hard for me to imagine that. But, you know.
But he had like the super secret police after him, right?
No, not in.
Oh, this was
like
just...
because like. He does have them after him, but generally he's being chased by the regular ass police. Okay. They're jobbers.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll be like, there's a criminal in the area, Jason Bourne, dangerous criminal in the area in this area of France. And then all the cops in the town jump on their motorcycles and go try to chase him down.
That's what somebody in the chat said. This is France, where they have like beautiful thin acrobat X-game officers.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I guess maybe that's true. I guess in America we have...
Matt can call in. The French guy, Matt, can call in and tell us.
Yeah, in America we just have like generally guys that I can't imagine running.
Yeah.
And then we put them in these like really... Which this is the only good thing about the way we treat cops. We put them in really uncomfortable, cumbersome outfits.
Yeah.
I used to like, when I was a cable guy, I had to wear a tool belt. And like, I just can't imagine chasing somebody with all that on.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think that the cops are, I mean, a lot of cops are oafish brutes that beat the shit out of people too and love chasing them down. But there's a certain part of the police force, like when I was at Planned Parenthood and we had to call the cops on somebody, a guy showed up and he didn't even get out of his car. He was just like poured into his car, like just a pile of fudge.
Yeah.
And he just like pulls up halfway in and out of the road, talking to the guy, telling him like, you know, you can't be around here. You can't do that. And then he pulls his car up to us and is like, I told him he can't do all that. And then he just drives away.
Yeah, he didn't like
the
get
laziest
out.
Fucking, yeah.
He drove
he did
to
not get
connect
out.
two sides of a conversation.
Basically a moving desk chair is what he has.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that's when I got robbed, probably in the same area you were doing that at. The cop never even got out of his car. I mean, I didn't call the police when I got robbed. I called my manager, which is the police.
Sure, that's the police, yeah.
Then my manager called the police, and it was like, oh, I don't know. And then they had me talk to him, and I was just like, I don't know what the guy fucking looked like, man. He had a gun.
Yeah.
And then they brought a line up to my house, and I assume I picked the wrong guy.
You picked a guy?
Well, they were like, pick a guy, and I was just like, I mean, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you gotta figure.
It was like 2 or 3 weeks after.
Yeah.
The thing happened. It was like, I don't know. I don't fucking know which guy it is.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore at
tough.
this point. I'm already off work. I'm on pain pills. This is fucking great. You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, Mark Driscoll is like a cop-looking guy. One of those short, stout cop-looking guys that's just kind of like, he'll give you a biblical reason why it's okay for your wife to give you blowjobs and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's fun. I haven't really think I've dabbled in that kind of Christianity.
It's like, it's really masculine Christianity. I had a really good guest, Scott Benson, Bombs Fall. He was part of the team that made A Night in the Woods video game, and he was telling us that there's these like men's retreats that that they go on a lot, which I happen to know somebody that went on a Christian men's retreat, and I didn't know what they did.
Yeah.
They just said we went on a men's retreat, and Scott had been on a couple men's retreats because Scott was a Christian for a period of time, and explained that it's like a lot of guys trying to find like loopholes for jacking off, or like guys asking if like, so he said, this is it's just a preview, but he said he went with a guy that was like super Christian, and Scott was like on the other end of like, is kind of coming out of it. And it was like, the guy got real mad at him and like confronted him at the end of the retreat, near the end. And he was like, so nobody's just going to agree not to jack off? Like this, we're going to go home and there's not going to be anything said about, because like, I guess they had just been sitting around talking about jacking off the whole fucking time, and nobody agreed not to jack off because they're full of like, because like, you're allowed to jack off if you're a Christian. You're just not allowed to lust if you're a Christian. So if you like jack off, like Mark Driscoll says, if you jack off thinking about tractors, then it's okay to jack off. But I would contend that if you can jack off thinking about tractors, then you're sexually attracted to tractors.
Sure.
So that's just, you're lusting after tractors. But yeah, so that's
misplaced lust.
You know, that's the kind of conversation more or less that
okay.
So weird.
Great.
The Christian stuff is so weird to me. The like really heavy evangelical Christian stuff is just finding a loophole to jack off is just like, look, none of you are without sin in this department, in this room. Sure. I don't want to hear about it.
Right.
You know? I mean, everybody has guilt around that thing when they're young.
Sure.
You know? No reason to put more guilt on people.
Yeah, it's tough. It is. It's a really stupid thing. Probably part of the reason why we handled coronavirus so horribly as well.
Oh yeah, we're open back up, my man.
Yeah, the world's back. The wheels keep on turning, right?
We're back, man. Columbus, Ohio is opened back up, baby. The economy's rolling.
What? Oh man, I didn't do a deep enough dive on this, and I feel bad that I'm going to bring it up. But I saw that a big tattoo protest was canceled.
Yeah.
I was on Instagram and saw a big banner that said tattoo artists against quarantine protest has been canceled at the State House.
Yeah, because they're allowed to go back to tattooing and stuff. They're like, shit, we're allowed. They were freaking out a little bit. I saw like tattooists and piercers were like, when are you going to let us do our thing, man?
Yeah. Which, you know, I mean, I guess feasibly you make it up in your mind. Oh, we just let one person in at a time, and then I'm just exposed to one person a day or whatever, or two people a day. But Dave Davenport, who's worked a lot on Street Fight artwork, posters, and merch and all of that, he said the first day he went back, he tried to tattoo somebody, and they brought a person with them, and that person said that they were around somebody that tested positive.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going back.
Yeah, yeah. I have a nuanced take on the opening back up. Like, it's sort of weird. So when this all started, and Brett, you were a person who was skeptical about it, right? Like at the very beginning, he was skeptical for 1 week.
I wasn't skeptical. I think I just had no idea.
Right. So we were all joking around about it in February.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were all having a good laugh about coronavirus in February. And then everything happened in March. And we were like, oh, maybe this is real.
Sure.
And like, all I hope is that our first instinct was right.
I think
like that's all I've been thinking about is like, if our first instinct that this was all bullshit was right, then we're okay. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's true, and I don't think that's true. And even if it's not true, they will never admit it's not true. Like once we open, we're open. They ain't going back.
So.
I don't think they're going back
again.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
They'll have to.
I don't know, man.
At some point, they're going to have to say, we have to shut it down again.
Because I don't think it's going to get reported on the same way again. Like, I don't think that, like, when people start dropping dead from it this time, they just aren't going to, like, talk about it.
We'll see. Know? Yeah, I don't know.
It's just this thing in politics, and I don't know how long it's been. You know, the first I can remember of it is, like, 2004, where you're never allowed to admit that you're wrong. is like one of those, like, because that was a big famous thing about Bush when they asked him if there's anything he wouldn't do over again if he had the chance to do it over again. He was like, no, I would just do everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where it's like these guys can't really, they never admit they're wrong. Once they open this shit back up, these guys aren't going to be like, oh, we were wrong, we shouldn't have opened it back up. Because that to them shows some kind of weird weakness. I just think they're just going to let people die. Like,
I mean,
they're going to let it spread and let people die. I think that we're only going to open up more now.
what about, you think concerts and shit, though, are coming back?
I think that, like, it'll be a little bit, but, like, and I think it'll be hard to get art. There will be artists that will do it. And I think I even have, I do have a news story about a guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And my buddy,
I'm not sold.
actually, my buddy from Oklahoma City said there was a comedy club open that was having a comedian in. And I don't think concerts and shit, I don't think we're going to be able to, like, we won't perform live until we know that our listeners are safe, right? Like, or relatively safe as you can be in this world. Like, I don't plan to perform live. But I do think that, like, people, I just think that, like, once they open it all back up, then it takes a real person, a real human to be like, we fucked up. We shouldn't have opened everything back up. And then we're going to have to close everything up again. It takes like a real special person that can't make it into politics to do that.
Sure.
You know, like,
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I feel, I'm nervous about it. I'm not saying, I am just like, at this point, all we can really do is hope that it's not as bad as they said it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's all we can really, we can not go out, which I'm not going out, you know? But the beer garden down the street from my house is opening at the end of this week.
With what? Like
just patio.
Every other?
Just
on the
patio. I don't know every other. I don't know any of that stuff. But, like, I take a walk every day, and I walk through downtown, and everything is open. Everything except for the concert halls and the clubs and a lot of the bars. But I'm talking like retail, coffee shops, restaurants. We're all back, dude. It's all back. People were shopping today out there. And like going indoors, and people weren't wearing masks, and there's already like a backlash against masks now. So it's just kind of like, I just don't have faith. Like, I don't have faith in any people at this point. Like, I have faith in people that like listeners of this show, or like more even liberal type people. I have faith in them that they're going to stay home and they're not going to go out. Like, I do have that kind of faith. I think that people that are engaged and plugged in will stay home. But I also think that, like, the amount of people that are super engaged and plugged in is not as high as we would like to think that it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, like I told you on Sunday, like, I went to visit my mom on Mother's Day, and we stood outside 6 feet apart, and she said that she's already trying to get a hair appointment. Like, on Sunday, before the shit was even open, she was like an early adopter to hair appointments.
Yeah.
I just don't think people...
Yeah.
I mean, my sister's been called back into work, I think, and, like, I just think everybody's...
I think she said June or something, right?
Yeah, but she knows when.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that, like, the longer things are open back up, the more... In like, Arizona, they're talking about doing concerts. And they said live sports, concerts, all that stuff is back at the end of this month. You know?
Yeah.
So I just think that, like, once they open it up, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Once they open it up, if people start dropping dead, I think that it's just going to not be a big news story, is what it's going to be. Or could be a news story that nobody in charge references. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the deaths start going up, and then the news maybe starts covering it, but Trump is like, we've moved on from that already. And then that's all we get out of these guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've just seen them drop the ball too many times on too many fucking things. And like...
Yeah, they're in a real hurry to get back to normal, and then the people are too.
Yeah.
There's the people that want to be able to go and.
I do. I said this. I'll say this now. Like, it's gonna take everything in me not to like start making unnecessary trips out again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really want to, and I know it's fucking selfish, and it's like gonna be like a trial for me to not do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, it's gonna be hard for me not to do stuff. I'm not going to, because obviously I don't want to get coronavirus, and I don't want to give it out to people either.
Read what happens about the people that got it.
Yeah.
I read a motherfucking essay from this woman that has it, and I was like, well, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I agree, but but my brain, I just know how my brain works. I'm just like being, there's an abundance of caution for me to know my worst impulses, and to know that like, there's a lot of people like me out there that really want this over with, that are really gonna fucking believe in the end of believe that this is over, and they're gonna fucking not have the same restraint that I have.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, is like, even the stuff that I was like, you know, when like there was no reason for me and my family and the people we were around to like panic immediately. We didn't know anybody that had it or anything. But, you know, in you know, quarantining, staying inside, being able to work from home, all of that stuff has helped us. But it does kind of lull you back into a little bit where you kind of want to just forget, like, maybe we beat it, you know? Maybe we
go to the movies.
Yeah, let's just go to the movies.
Yeah. An Arkansas venue planning to hold a country music concert with more than 200 people on Friday will be served a cease and desist letter, the state's governor said Tuesday. You can't just arbitrarily determine when the restrictions are lifted. That's something that is done based on public health requirements, Governor Asa Hutchinson said during a news conference regarding an intimate solo acoustic performance with Travis McCready, scheduled for May 15th at the Temple Live event space. The Arkansas Department of Health issued a directive last week that said that starting on May 18th, indoor venues could hold events with 50 people or fewer. We're doing our Arkansas show.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't think we'd get more than 50 in Arkansas.
I think we could do that. We charged an exclusive COVID hazard pay price. We're going to do comedy behind like a big plastic shield.
Yeah, venues that wanted to hold events with more than 50 people must be operating at less than 34% capacity and also submit a plan to the department. Clearly, it's 3 days before we determined it was an appropriate time to open up to a limited capacity in some of those informal venues. And even if you're going to have 250 people at the venue, you still have to have a specific plan that would be approved by the Department of Health. None of that was done in this case. This club, I guess, the Department of Health will be sending the venue a cease and desist letter, Hutchinson said on Wednesday morning. Tickets for the show were still on sale. A message seeking comment from Temple Live, which is in Fort Smith on the border of Oklahoma, went unanswered Wednesday. Mike Brown, a venue spokesperson, told NBC affiliate KNWA last month that as far as he knows, the show is the first announced since coronavirus shutdowns began in March. He said the event would be in line with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines. Our capacity is 1,100, and we've scaled it down to 229 to meet CDC recommendations for social distancing, he said. Brown said that seating was arranged in clusters 6 feet apart. That group would have to be the people that you've been home with, your family members or someone that you're comfortable being in that 6 foot social distance space, he said. And concert goers would have their temperatures taken before entering. Like, how you even determine? Like, this is bullshit, right? Like, this idea that, like, well, it would just be people, you know, it would be groups of people,
you,
like
your
me,
lovers,
my wife, my daughter,
yeah,
my wife's boyfriend. Like, all of us are going to come to the show together and sit 6 feet away from anybody else. And this is still indoors. You know? I would almost even feel better if this was outside.
Yeah.
Almost. But I just think that like, when I saw that there was a show announced, I couldn't even believe it. But I had heard yesterday that that a comedy club in Oklahoma City had a show booked with a national comedian that was going to come in and do was gonna come in and do his comedy, and I'm just like, why? What? Why do it? But like, people need money, and that's what I've been thinking about too, in regards to like people like me and you, who this show has a relatively stable source of income that doesn't necessarily, we don't have to rely on touring. But if we were desperate to make money again, right? Like, let's say we didn't have this stable source of income and all of our money came from touring, I wonder how willing we would be to sit out for a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that, and that's another thing that, like, it's just, I'm trying to be a good person, but I also understand the side of a person who's like, no, I'm going to go do a comedy show. That's how I pay my bills.
Right.
And I have to go do it.
Right.
You know, I just don't think you're going to sell enough tickets to do a comedy show that makes sense.
Right.
And I think it hits your, I guess, like, your brand gets hit a lot harder when you kill a bunch of your fans.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Than if you just sit home for 6 months. But I don't know what but all the incentive in the world is there for these guys to be the first people to announce shows.
Right.
That's what I've been thinking about a lot. It's like, yeah, we can all say we're not going to gather, but at some point, somebody is going to be like, I'll fucking do a show. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then a room full of people are going to show up to see that fucking show. Nick DiPaolo would probably book a show now and have the room filled with people. You know?
Yeah.
And like, we're we're fucking headed downhill now. You know?
We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's what everything suggests. It seems pretty drastic. But
I'll say I'm nervous about it. And again, as I wanted to say, like, this is not me advocating. This is not me saying I'm going to go out. I'm saying that there is temptation for even me.
Yeah.
And that, like, I think that, like, I'm and I'm sure there are people listening to this show right now that feel temptation too. And like, even a month from now, like if you start thinking like, oh, well, it doesn't seem like it's gotten any worse a month from now, then you're going to be tempted again. Like, that's another temptation, you know? And like, I just know, like, my completely imperfect and selfish thought process is reproduced in a lot of other humans that came up in this world.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, understandable.
And I think it's worth mentioning. Like, I think it is worth saying, like, people do want to get out of their house, and people, it is going to be very hard for people to stay home when things start happening again, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, the lockdown, I think, helped avoid that, whatever that initial wave was, and we're just gonna, this one is, I guess this one is like they really are handing it over our lives into our own hands, where now it's you kind of get to decide how much exposure you want to have to this thing to find out if it's really something you want to fuck with.
I wish that was true, though, because like if you're a person that works at one of these venues or something, you're not
right.
getting to make that decision.
That's what
you
sucks.
know.
You're right.
Like
because
if we were able,
it's the rich and the privileged people that have work at home jobs when they're like, we're not going to talk about bringing anyone back until June 1st, you know?
Yeah.
Take the rest of the month off.
Yeah, I do wish that like that was the choice that we were making right now. Like you can go out, you can run your business, you can do your thing, fine. Do it. You know? That's not the case. That's not what's happening.
I think they're setting those schools up too, where they're going to have to go like staggered days or something. They're going to be assigned 1 or 2 days a week.
I know colleges are like, and the Dr. Fauci dude was like, I wouldn't like prepare to be going to in-person classes at college in September. I just wouldn't even. That's not something that you should be guaranteeing.
I haven't listened to this guy.
What?
I haven't listened to this guy.
I don't know.
I don't know. I know for the hate for him.
Well, I mean, he's a Trump's guy. I mean, I guess like he has broke from the White House on stuff, but he's also like standing next to Donald Trump while Donald Trump is like, open it back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's a doctor. I think he's trying to kind of like, I guess if I had to guess, if I had to get in this Fauci guy's brain, he's trying to like limit the damage that Trump can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put a pin in this. Well, this is something I hope to do in the future. But talking about like people need money, somebody sent this to me, and I posted it on the Twitter and Facebook pages. One of those, you know, they come out every so often. One of those graphics that just explains like how much money Jeff Bezos has.
Yeah,
and it's amazing because they just show like $1.7 million, the amount of money that on average we will earn in our whole entire life. And it's this little black square. And then they're like, this is $1 billion. And it's this giant thing. And then they're like, this is how much he has.
He's close to $1 trillion now.
And it goes on forever. And like our stupid little cheap lives could easily be provided for. It's just so apparent every time. I don't know. It just sucks because nobody believes it. People don't understand how great the divide is. Like that. How,
that $1 billion is a million millions.
Yes. Yeah.
And is $1 trillion $1 billion billions?
I don't know.
I don't either, but that's a lot.
$1 million billions?
Maybe $1 million. I don't know. It's just such an amount of money.
$1 billion.
Yeah, I don't know what $1 trillion is. Hopefully, somebody in the chat or there's some mathematician yelling at their computer right now. But yeah, I mean, you know, I hope people are smart and like I hope that people are are better than me as a person. Like again, I'm only doing the weekly grocery shopping. That's what I'm going out to do.
Yeah.
I'll hang out with Brett, I'll come over here and I'll do weekly grocery shopping, and if my friends want to get together and hang out in the backyard, I'm willing to do that too. But I'm not going to the beer garden.
Yeah.
The Hofbrauhaus.
Yeah, not worth it.
Like, it doesn't need to be open.
You can make pretzels at your house.
Yeah, and just...
Beer cheese, also easy to make at your house.
Yeah, you just pour some beer and some cheese in a thing, and you got yourself a beer cheese. You know?
Yeah.
I think.
No, it's just you make, like, the roux with beer.
Okay. And then you put cheese in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, beer, cheese, beer cheese.
A little bit of flour.
Yeah, I saw that. I decided today... let's do this real quick because it's just a tweet that I saw.
1 trillion is 1 million billion.
Okay.
1 million times 1 billion.
Okay. All right. I saw this tweet today and I thought it was really funny. Reuters is hosting an hour-long virtual sing-along tomorrow at 8 a.m. for its employees.
Fauci started in 1984, so he's not a Trump guy.
Okay.
Just wanted to correct, just so people knew.
He's not I didn't say he's a Trump guy. I'm saying that, like, I don't know. I guess I trust him, you know? I guess I'm like being like, you should resign.
I didn't know anything about him.
I don't know the guy. I don't care, really. I'm not listening to him.
So what were you saying?
I don't remember. Oh, I was just saying that Reuters is doing a virtual sing-along, making its employees do an 8 a.m. sing-along on Zoom tomorrow, and it's just like, how many of these things are going on? Because I have seen a lot of people saying there's been a lot of mandatory fun from their jobs on Zoom, and I would really love to, maybe Sunday night, if you want to call in and tell us about your mandatory fun at work, I would love to hear about that.
I'm sure like the HR blog mills and like all of the content creators for like workplace emotional intelligence and stuff were like, hey gang, we got to make this fun, you know, that they just started passing around all these articles on how to play virtual Scrabble, or how to everybody builds a fort. Everybody put on clown makeup and show up.
So
my daughter is she was on 2 hours of them today. It was a lot. Yeah.
For school?
Yeah. So there's some artist that she's like, he's in Arizona and he's Zooming with the whole class and showing them his studio and talking about like how he creates art. He creates like stone sculptures and shit. And
your daughter pay a lot of attention to it?
She was like, actually pretty interested. I was surprised. Really? Yeah. She was on her hands and knees doing like the classic with like, you know, the butt up in the air.
Yeah.
On the ground, hardwood floor, just right on her knees and elbows, and just staring at that iPad.
Gwen hasn't done a Zoom thing since the whole thing
Really?
crashed. Yeah, she's
They
not
don't
doing
do
them.
Zooms?
No.
Oh.
No. But they're not mandatory, so she ain't fucking doing them.
They're for like lectures and stuff, or
Yeah, they'll be like, if you guys want to meet tomorrow, who knows?
to talk about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just study and turn in the homework.
Yeah, she did say that a lot of parents are making their kids like keep their bedtime schedules, and I was like, in fucking 9th grade?
I know.
That's the first thing that went away for me when summers would come every year when my daughter was like real young. Like as soon as summer was on, it's like, you fucking go to bed when you go to bed, you get up when you get up. I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
you know?
same. We do that too.
We'll start living a fucking full-on nightlife like every year for her whole time, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like she said that she has one friend at school that has to go to bed at 8 every day.
That sucks.
And or 9. I think she said 9. And it's just like, God damn. My niece is having, I don't know this for sure, but my sister was trying to get my niece to go to bed early. And I was just like, you know, she's also a teen. It's like, no, just let them stay up all night. Who cares? You know, as long as they get the work done.
Yeah.
They got to do the work. That's all you got to do.
Learn some shit.
I've gotten zero anything from any of her teachers that she's not doing her work. So I am perfectly fine with whatever she's doing. Yeah. You know? But I don't think that they're being as rigorous about the work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you
it's really just I mean, it's like really school is just getting people used to working in an office. And so they just have to replicate what adults are doing in the office is really all that school is supposed to be. So people are working a lot, but also at the same time not getting shit done the same way as it was before.
Yeah, she's 2 weeks away from being done anyway for the year. So she's just kind of like, I don't know. It's a bummer. It kind of did hit me. I think the seniors this year, she's been talking about like how the prom's in July. They have like pushed the prom to July. Yeah. And it's like only fucking losers would go to that. I mean, from Groveport. I'm sure like in my neighborhood they have civic pride. Yeah. You know? But like
why didn't you go?
I didn't go to the prom when I was in high school anyway.
Sure.
But I just you're graduated. You know? You're out of there. Like going and doing some high school thing in July, the year you graduated.
Everybody's life is on hold.
I know. And they're not getting to walk. Yeah. Or any of that. They're not getting that whole thing. Which, to me, as an adult, I'm just like, well, you were part of history. So, like, I guess, like, just hang your hat on that. Yeah. You know? There's moments where I've been a part of history where I wasn't where I necessarily wanted to be. Yeah. You know? I would say, and this is going to sound like bullshit, but J20, I didn't want to fucking be there, you know? We were there, and it was a part of history. I'm glad we were there, but I had panic attacks and whined about it for 3 weeks before we went and did that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you realize, like, you have to realize in the moment that, like, in 10 years, this is going to be more... what's happening now seems boring now, but it's gonna be more of a story, I guess, than graduation night where you just walk and then go get drunk and fucking end school, you know?
Right.
So
you go to a secret field where someone smuggled a keg.
Yeah. I mean, I think we just went to people's houses. They were pretty hip to, you know, oh, you're 18, you know, go ahead and get drunk.
We found some plot of land somewhere, and there was just a secret party that everybody drove out just outside of town to like the country area. And one of my friends got her keys stuck in the car, and she didn't want to call for help, so she got this guy to break the window for her.
Yeah. I didn't walk, by the way. I don't know if people know that. I didn't walk at my high school graduation.
Oh my goodness, really?
I flunked.
Oh no, that's so surprising.
And I was up in the stands, and I gotta tell you, man, real loser energy, real loser vibes up in the stands when you're like, even your most like loser friends are walking that aisle.
Yeah.
You know like there were
Bummer was there. Flunky was there.
There were
Goober. Who else was there?
Total fucking loser.
Nosedive was there. Foot in the mouth.
It was me and a bunch of 11th graders sitting up in the fucking stands being like, I'm gonna go fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Hey, these guys down here, they can't even party. Look at them. They're just sitting in the sun.
Wearing the stupid outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't make it. I did not. But it didn't, I mean, the prom and that stuff, it's not something I thought about, and I just think that like people place a lot of emphasis on that at the time because it does feel very important in the time, but I think that like you can live a full and complete life without walking on the graduation or going to prom.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't think that's impossible to do.
We should get you on the iHeartRadio.
Oh, the commencement?
You should do the commencement speech.
Well, I'd be full of shit though, because like I did do my Ohio State one and was like, I can't even lie and say I wasn't like incredibly proud when I did that and felt really good.
Did it?
Was smiling. I walked at the Ohio State. And when I graduated from Ohio State, I walked and like shook the hand and took the thing and then walked off, and I'm smiling in the picture. It was like really exciting to me.
Yeah.
And I was like very happy about it. So I would be lying if I said like I couldn't say I never did it. But like I had to do that one because it was like a fuck you to the other one.
Sure.
You know, like, oh, you could have had me walking in your fucking graduation, but you fucked the whole thing up by not inspiring me.
Sure, pretty much.
What I'll say, yeah. But I think, you know, it's such a weird fucking time. And I think that's the right decision not to do it just because it's a thing.
Sure.
And I hope these kids understand that. I don't know if they might not now, but I can tell you that in the future they will get it. And
sure.
They will graduate from college a lot, but especially in my daughter's school district. They're like they got like a 96% rate or some shit like that. So, Kristen, go ahead.
I got one thing for you. I got two things for you. Well, I'll get the first one out of the way. Just this is a little bit of a conspiracy that somebody sent in related to billboards. So it says here, hey gang, I started listening to you cats after hearing Brian shit talk Mike Rowe on Citations Needed. Look forward to hearing him guest on there again. Down to business. Didn't you just do it again?
Yeah, I'll be on there. I don't know when they release them, but I did it like 2 weeks ago. Or last week. Last Monday or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'll be on there soon, I promise.
During the latest Sunday call-in show, Brian brought up the highway billboards thanking healthcare workers. He wondered why they weren't thanking service workers. I have an anecdote about that. I work for AAA in Baltimore. People need their cars, so I'm considered essential. I drive all over the city and surrounding counties while working. When Shelter at Home was starting, all of those highway billboards had thanks essential workers, messages, and had stock photos with sanitation workers, letter carriers, and cashiers on them.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks into things, there were a lot of stories in the news about Amazon workers staging walkouts, Instacart workers striking, and some grocery store workers staging walkouts to protest lack of PPE. Around the time that happened, all of the highway billboards switched too. Thank you, healthcare workers and first responders. And they also switched the pictures to stock photos of hospital workers and police officers.
Yeah. I did notice it did cut down within a month, like who we were thanking again, you know?
Oh yeah, it did. It was like, goodness gracious. Well, we got groceries. Thank God that the people are still doing groceries. And then it was just like, ew, they want hero pay. They want to keep the hero pay. They're full of themselves.
Yeah. We really,
Also, there's a petition for Kroger to sign the hero pay. That's also on the Street Fight Facebook and Twitter pages.
Well, I hope that works. I will sign it for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took the hero pay away in as soon as it was like, well, they can't fucking leave us in a lurch now.
Right.
You know?
So
But I'll agree with you though. Like, it is odd that it changed, or that like the Blue Angels aren't flying over cities to, show appreciation for the Grubhub drivers.
Yes, I guess we love
like which like and all you would have to do to have that be for them, because who cares if the Blue Angels fly over your city?
Yes.
Like, I'm even trying to figure out like why they're like, nurses love these airplanes.
Just old grandpa, dorky grandpa are the ones that love it.
Yeah, and all they would have to do to make that an all-encompassing thing is say the Blue Angels are flying over for, cashiers, Grubhub drivers, fucking nurses, doctors, all of them. But instead, it's like for healthcare. This Blue Angel flyover, this is for healthcare workers. This is not for you.
Right.
Okay?
So the person says, I can't help but think the timing of the change wasn't a coincidence. They agree with you. It felt like the messaging was for service workers to know their place, and it pissed me off. On working during the pandemic, it's sort of scary, but it does feel like life is still normal because my routine is still kind of the same. I'm fortunate that I'm working outdoors and the company has given us the green light to leave calls if the customers aren't following social distancing. Having said that, the company isn't giving us hazard pay. They gave us a one-time $200 bonus and that's it. They also hung signs and banners that say shit like, heroes work here, all over the shop. Every time I see one of those, I get the urge to stroll into the main boss's office and tell him I'm not a fucking hero. I'm a fucking dude with a mortgage I need to pay. Mm-hmm. Keep casting the top-notch pods, and if you cats... We're cats. I love being hep cats. Keep casting the top-notch pods, and if you cats ever do a post-pandemic show in Baltimore, I'll go on an hours-long walk with Brian.
Okay, hours.
I was
going to say, if you just think you're getting out in an hour, I walked for 6 today.
Okay.
Or 8, maybe. I saw this thing, our buddy Kristen, she's been on the show, Kristen Porter from the DSA.
Yes.
Donya Isabel on Twitter, Dona, I got to get her how to spell that name.
Donaisabelle.
Okay. And she posted this in a chat, and we miss her with all of our heart because she's one of our most staunch wrestling buddies when we do Dynamite viewing parties. And
always shows up to the variety show.
She shows up to every show in Columbus. She's the best. Never asked to be on the list.
Yeah.
She sent me this. She used to be a barista. And she sent me this Instagram, or didn't send it to me. She posted this Instagram post from Barista Magazine.
Okay.
I read this, and it sent me into a fucking tailspin. Okay? And maybe I'm wrong about this. I would love for somebody to tell me that I'm wrong about this, but this is crazy to me.
Okay.
Are freelance baristas the future of coffee?
Okay, hired guns.
Being a freelance barista offers variety, a flexible schedule, and endless opportunities to expand your... Yeah, I did, right? Like, already, freelance means independent contractor is what that means.
So, I'm wondering, do they show up to your house and, make it in your house?
Well, I think what this is that it sounds like the idea... Well, I can finish reading this, but this sounds like the idea that somebody came up with for an app, and they're sort of floating it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like, I guess in a way it's like, hi, I'm an independent coffee owner, and I run through baristas like crazy. I hate having to train them and do all this stuff. I'd rather just have a list of freelance baristas that I can hire.
Right, and I gotta
for
say,
a day, who's gonna be what kind of hotshot barista comes in? This is how much you gonna get really?
And then when taxes come out, how much is it really gonna be in the end when you got to pay them taxes?
It's not like a star tender position.
It is. It could be, but I do not think that's what they're pitching.
It does open it up to star barista stars. There could be people when you're like, oh my God, Helen I love Helen from Instagram is serving a full tasting spread of her favorite coffees.
You know, that's where you kind of hope Helen would own her own coffee shop. That's where you kind of hope that a person that's that good at something
no, man,
can be the person that runs the place.
No, man, they got to be free. They got to be able to pick up the soil and taste it. And they got to be able to roll into town and give you like a Yurgachev that will hit the spot. You know, they got to be able to hit the right notes. They want to be able to get to like, you know, get to know the local roasters and just wherever they can find whenever they can find an espresso machine, they can do their magic.
So this is just an ad for a column that they're doing about freelance baristas, but at the end it says, in part 2 of our Barista Mag online series about freelance coffee work, we look at some companies that connect independent baristas to cafes with open shifts, independent contractor status, and more. Check it out today. So that's like the link. And then they have a picture of somebody, and I guess, like, to me, this is the beginning of, this feels like the beginning of something that we're seeing happening. Like, this is something that I felt wasn't possible. And what I mean by that is that, like, okay, taxis, you can see how Lyft worked. You know, people didn't really love taxis. And then, like, when Lyft came along, it was cheaper, and it just priced taxis out a bit. It just kind of priced the taxis out, and Lyft is the thing now.
There was also a golden era when it happened where you could actually do it as a second job.
Yes. And that, so taxis then became independent contracting jobs, and that sort of, you could see that. I couldn't see it coming, but, like, maybe in retrospect, we should have seen something like that happening.
Sure.
And then deliveries got taken over by this. And there are a lot of even pizza shops that used to deliver that are now using Grubhub to deliver and stuff like that. So that's another, like, thing that's gone. But in my mind, I never foresaw a future where the people that work behind the counter at cafes and restaurants would be independent contractors. I, in my most cynical brain, couldn't figure out how they were going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I saw this and I was like, oh my God, that's how they're going to fucking do it. They're going to fucking tell people, like, you can fucking travel the world being a barista. You know, you can move anywhere you want in the country. Hey, you don't need to have a fucking job. You can work at a different coffee shop every single day if you want to.
Yeah, they're gonna show some fresh-faced young person like traveling, like going to a concert, and then the band is like, "Hey, you should come with us," and they travel the country working at the day job that they get on their new coffee app, and then seeing their favorite band every single night.
And this really did, and this opened up like so much to me. Like, this opened up like just cooks. This opened up like a lot of people to that.
Yeah.
I don't want people fucking freelancing.
Well, the coffee thing, I mean, Starbucks really built an entire, everybody can't drink coffee. Like, I gave it up. I mean, you can't rely. They're like doing an E.T. the game thing where they just think that there was always going to be more people to buy their coffee. And they have this gigantic system that churns people in and out. That barista is like has to be a huge part of our economy.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a need for this because there are so many fucking people that have been fired from Starbucks.
Yeah. Well,
that they can take advantage of.
They have manufactured that. I mean, I think Starbucks has been very successful in manufacturing that need for coffee.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They have, like, really, they have their hooks in very deep. They're McDonald's now.
Sure, yeah.
You know, like, they're probably more ubiquitous now than McDonald's, and probably more symbolic of America than McDonald's is at this point, you know?
True.
Like, people shit talk McDonald's and talk down about McDonald's, but people don't do that, like, about Starbucks, you know? And when I was growing up, it was like, you just sort of thought that like there was never gonna be a food place as big as McDonald's ever. Like it was the default to a lot of people. Like if my parents said, "What do you want for dinner?" it was always McDonald's, always. And now it does feel like I feel now when the economy's moving normally and when we're all out and we're hanging out. I mean, it's no fucking thing. It's just a regular fucking day if I go spend $15 on coffee with my family. You know? We're going to go out. We're going to go fucking run around.
Yep.
Let's stop at Starbucks and we'll each get a fucking coffee.
Yep.
You know? And, like, you have the same thing. Like, when you and your wife are out running around, she has to stop every once in a while and get a fucking coffee.
Yep.
You know?
My daughter needs a cake pop.
Yeah. Success. That is... They have successfully done it. And, really worm their way into being, like, this thing. And barista is a job that's, I mean,
essential.
Also takes skill,
It
too.
does.
Like, it takes a certain amount of skill, and you need to be able to do it right. So I even understand, like, specializing in it and becoming a very in-demand barista.
That's true.
But I don't think that that's what... If we started classifying freelance barista, I don't think that's what that would end up being.
It's going to be bidding for the lowest.
Yeah.
Possible you'll take.
Because you see those machines in a lot of places now, too, where you just go order a coffee and they walk up to a machine and they press what you said into a screen on the TV and it just makes it for you anyway.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, my God.
Where's that at?
It makes my heart drop every time I see it. There's a place downtown in Columbus called The Goat that has a window. They call breakfast morning ritual, not breakfast. They serve morning ritual, lunch, and dinner is what they...
Morning ritual, lunch, and dinner.
Yes. Morning ritual, lunch, dinner. Those are the meals of the day.
At the Goat.
That's downtown in Columbus on High and one of those roads down near Maine, right?
Okay.
And they have a... open window. They have a window now. They've always had the window, but they never used it. A carry-out window. And I've been kind of like tempted.
Yeah, we know about your temptations.
Yeah, I love coffee. You know what I mean? And I fucking finally one day was just like, I'll ring the little bell and get a coffee.
Sure.
For these motherfuckers. You know, I don't even have to go in.
Yeah.
What could be more? I have hand sanitizer in my pocket. I don't have to go in. It's safe. This is a safe thing. There's nobody else in the building with her. So I stop, and I ring the bell, and I order just a black coffee, and I see the goddamn machine right in front of me. And I was like, no, it's one of the machines, because they have them in gas stations, too. And it's just like a machine that you can just stick the coffee
like
under the thing, and it does everything. Yeah, but it does... It does make better coffee than the gas station.
Okay.
It does make better coffee.
They put like Thunder Kiss beans in there or something.
It's just somewhere between gas station and Starbucks. It's like it's like an in-between spot where it's just a machine that has hot water and beans and shit in it. But just does all the work for them.
Sure.
And it's just like, that's just another automation thing and it's like, they're going to move more towards that. We know that, like, Starbucks is going to keep moving more towards an automation thing. It's just this idea that there is, like, that like, there is any romance in freelance work. It's false.
Yeah.
It's not, like, a real fucking thing. It makes it sound like back in the like 1800s when you would be like a freelance like fisherman that would, you know, you go to the docks and you're like, oh, he's the greatest fisherman in 3 towns, and then fucking you get on the boat and like you work your way up through the ranks and you're like this great hand on the deck and it's like, that's not what it is.
You roll into town, you make enough coffee, you make coffee during coffee season, you roll into town when it's cold. You make coffee for 3 months and you have enough for the rest of the year. That would be the life.
That is a freelance. That I would like that.
Yeah.
That would be great.
If it was like king crab fisherman.
That's not what it is, though. This means you're working in the morning at a coffee shop, a different coffee shop in the afternoon and then a different coffee shop the next morning. Like you're doing 3 or 4 shifts, and it's just, this is hell nightmare. When it says freelancer, it means nightmare that doesn't pay very much.
Yep. Yeah.
So I saw that and I was just like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
I got some stuff too. But
Okay, go ahead.
This is a long one, so I don't know if you want to save it or what.
Go for it.
This is a long one. This is a PPP letter, an email that somebody got. It's pretty good.
Okay. If it's good, let's hear it.
Subject is 8-week rehire team.
Oh no.
COVID-19 crisis has caused a major disruption to Redacted's operations. Due to being shut down by the state, Redacted was forced to seek aid from the federal government through the PPP. Redacted received funds from the program that are meant for payroll and operating costs I'm sorry.
I called it Redact. What a bad name for a company.
Yeah. Meant for payroll and operating costs in certain things in the restaurant. This is somebody else's writing. In fact, the PPP allows loan forgiveness for amounts used for payroll costs and certain operating costs as defined by the PPP. As you may well know, the federal government and the states have reached an agreement to provide an additional $600 a week to the unemployment benefits already available. As stated above, in order to get forgiveness for the PPP loan, we are required to retain a certain percentage of employees and their payroll, which created a difficult proposition for both Redacted and our employees, given the significant increase in unemployment benefits. It creates a situation where our employees could choose to stay on unemployment and make more money than if the employee returned to work, which in turn would negatively affect Redacted's ability to reach the required employment and payroll cost thresholds for forgiveness. So this is bullshit. I like, you took money to pay people's wages and now you have to make them work. Like, why don't you just not take the money and let them get fucking unemployment? What is you need the money for? If you're just going to use it on their payroll, you're just fucking with them.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I mean, I didn't want to take it because there are strings attached to it.
Yeah. So, you ready for the conclusion here? Mm-hmm. We at Redacted completely understand the predicament of our employees. No, you don't. No. You sure as hell don't.
No, because you took the goddamn money. Now you have to do something.
You have somehow figured your predicament as our predicament. You've misplaced that now and made it our predicament. We're just as frustrated as you are at the lack of guidance. I'm just tearing my hair out on the other side of this thing. I'm chewing my hat up. I'm so mad about it. However, on May 5th, 2020, the Department of Treasury issued guidance to clarify the predicament facing us and our employees and those similarly situated all over the country. Per the guidance, Redacted can now offer you your previous job with the same number of wages and hours. Even if you are not scheduled to work the same hours, you will get paid as if you did. And should you decline this offer, Redacted can qualify for the exception that will not reduce the amount of loan forgiveness Redacted would otherwise have qualified for had you accepted the offer. So, good news. If you decline coming to work, the company doesn't get hurt. Isn't that great news?
That's great.
But, all that being said, Redacted is thrilled to be able to offer you reemployment with us. We understand that many of our employees have been receiving or have applied to receive unemployment benefits. At this point, it is up to you whether you would like to return to your employment with Redacted, or if you would like to continue start receiving unemployment benefits. However, it is important to note that employees who reject offers of reemployment may forfeit eligibility for continued unemployment compensation.
It's a fucking robbery. It's like that's all
so nice,
it is.
Though.
It is a nice robbery.
I'm so worried. What can we do for you? I'm just hectic about this. Like, we're in a real pickle, gang. What can we do? we could take money from the government and we will make you work instead of getting unemployment, because we know you're just sicker than hell over there on unemployment, thinking that you're that Redacted is being hurt right now. So we want to give you your jobs back. And the good news is, if you don't take them, it won't hurt us. It'll just hurt you.
That's what we were saying earlier about the that's what we were saying earlier about, like, if people were just making this decision for themselves to go out and do stuff, that would be great. But they're actually making this decision for, you know, people who don't even make enough money that they should be worried about dying at their job.
How about the government starts giving that $1,200 out to everybody that goes back to work?
Yeah, yeah.
How about you get $600 to stay on unemployment, you get $1,200 if you return to your job. Just make it rolling until we're done with the fucking thing.
That's smooth as hell too. That's a good way to do it. You know?
So I just want to get yeah. I mean, I guess this is just a whole bunch of. It's just really stupid. It's all exposition about how, oh, they're just hurt and they can't believe this is happening.
It sounds to me like this is a person who knows they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
That like knows they're fucking people over and are just trying to get like, they're like, okay, I've had this argument and this is a person who has put themselves in the position of the people that will be reading the email, but like is trying to like, they've had this argument in their head all night and now they're like playing it out in front of the people, you know?
Well, yeah, I want to say it does get into some jargon, but this last paragraph is pretty good because it does, the way they open this up. This letter represents Redacted's good faith reemployment offer. So it's just like they're basically saying out loud what they want you to think. Like, this is good faith, okay? This isn't like negotiable. You don't want us to make a bad faith offer because we'll get your ass kicked off unemployment real quick.
Yeah, this is our we're going to hire you back. We're requiring you to come back.
Yeah.
Is what it's not an offer.
It is. Yeah.
It is. You can come back they're saying like, if you don't feel safe, don't come back, but you ain't getting shit if you do it.
It's a gotcha. This is like one of those things when they're like, it's not like the mail, how you can just say, oh, I never got the notice in the mail. With this letter, Redacted can document its efforts in retaining you as an employee to provide evidence for the exception to the loan forgiveness reduction calculation. So it's like you already read so far enough. You're in the contract. It's a binding contract.
Smooth. That is
they caught you in a trap with the email. They just caught you with some legal jargon. They're gonna probably have some software that tracks if you opened it or not. They can see. They can report to the fucking state that you opened it and you ignored their fucking letter when they kick you off. Yeah,
has turned into like one of the cruelest pieces of legislation I've seen in quite a while to workers.
It's poison.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So then here they basically lay out. I mean, they pretty much just do. It's just really. It's now a trick. It's like basically. You owe X amount of. You are owed this amount of money to work based upon the rules of the government, and so you have to come back now. And if you decline, it's no more unemployment.
Yeah.
So they just got your ass in a headlock, and they're
they know that they're getting it. They know that people are coming back, and I've said this before. They're not like there's a good they're pocketing some of this money too. This PPP money. It's not like they're paying the regular wages of money.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're actually running or anything like that. The company's probably not running in a lot of cases. And, and it's like it really is a thing that was like the government made this thing and then a bunch of the worst people in the world, you know, took it without even fucking thinking about it. And then they're going to pay their employees for like 20 hours in a week, and then they're just going to pocket what's left over.
Yeah, it's horrible. So the bottom of this is basically they're forced to fill out this questionnaire. It says, do you understand that you've been offered pay from April 13th to June 7th? Yes or no? Do you understand that if you don't accept that pay, that you may not be eligible for benefits or stimulus money? So that you have to, if you agree to get paid for the time you've been off, then you
don't get your stimulus. Oh,
no,
well, I guess you still
if you
get your
don't
stimulus.
if you don't agree. If you don't agree to take the money for the month that they've been closed, then you will get kicked off of unemployment.
Yeah.
They're gonna they treat it as in not taking your job back.
Yeah.
So you lose. Yeah, you miss out on. Oh, that's fucked up.
I've seen this story so many times over and over again. I haven't seen it framed. I haven't seen like a lot of that
one.
Emails.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's so long, and it's just I love it's just so friendly. It's just one of the. It's like HR is just like, Brian, you're just such a brilliant spirit. You're just not the right fit
for redacted.
Yeah.
Your energy is just belongs somewhere else. I can just see you doing so good. So, you have this big problem of you don't fit at our company. And like, we really want to fix that problem for you. We want to solve that for you by sending you out the door today.
Yeah, by firing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the really nice way of sort of saying, you got to come back, and if you don't, then you're fucked, And I wonder what they're going to pay him for that time off. Again, they're not going to pay him for 40 hours those weeks that they were off.
No,
That's for sure.
There was all kinds of... There was multiplication going on in there that was just devious as fuck.
Yeah.
It's rocking a hard place because if you do take that 600 on unemployment, you're also going to have to pay that back later. Like, they're going to try to fucking dip in your taxes next year for that shit.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, that's what somebody's saying in the chat.
Oh, cool. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's just the most evil government. It's just the most evil shit.
It's so
ever.
Frustrating. It's hard to wake up to be honest.
Yeah. I saw this article on Fox News before we get out of here, and I thought it was funny.
Okay.
A long-time Memorial Day weekend tradition to honor veterans is now canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, but there are persisting calls to bring it back. For decades, the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and other group have devoted part of the holiday to place small American flags at the graves of veterans and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice as a way to honor our country's war heroes. Damn, that is one way to write it in the news.
Yeah.
But yet this year, the Department of Veterans Affairs has prohibited public events at the sites because of COVID-19. The Boy Scouts and other groups have been barred from carrying out the mass flag placements. On Long Island, New York, where more than 500,000 veterans are buried at 2 national military cemeteries, there are demands for the VA to reconsider and rescind the ban. If we can't figure out a way to make sure we're placing flags at their graves to honor them, then something is seriously wrong, said Suffolk County Executive Steve Baloney.
Yeah, who's Mr. Baloney.
Balone, but I'm going to call him Baloney because he's full of baloney.
Mr. Balone.
Whose county includes the sprawling Calverton and Long Island national cemeteries, which hold more veterans than any other military cemetery in the nation.
Then their souls are transferred through the stem of the flag, or what is what do these dead people need the flags for exactly?
Well, it's definitely a very emotional kind of moving experience. Personally, my dad is a veteran. This guy says my dad's a veteran. Let me explain to you.
Yeah.
How my dad said...
I'm doing this for my dad.
He was deployed in Iraq for a year. It's good to be able to pay our respects to our fallen heroes. It's important to me. It's important to the Boy Scouts. It's important to the community. And it's something that I would hate to see go.
Yeah, I
Take
mean, that
a
is true.
fucking year off.
Yeah.
God, just take a year off. You could
go online. All you have to do is make some sort of video online, and you would get 1 million likes from grandmas.
Oh, well, I know. Like a video of like a kid in a Boy Scout uniform with his hand up to his head and a flag in his hand, and just like maybe a scroll across the bottom that said, "I wish I could put this on a dead soldier's grave."
Yeah, exactly.
And then like with like "I'm proud to be an American" playing in the background. Yeah. That's just as effective as this. As doing the thing. Every grandma in the world would share it. Let's put me in a Boy Scout uniform.
Okay. And you're gonna...
I'll just stand there like this with a flag in my hand. We'll say this little boy.
I want to honor the men and women who died for this great country.
Don't even shave. Like nothing.
Where can we get a boy? Somebody can get us that
Boy Scout uniform. That's kind of hard.
We
to do.
need stuff for the TV show, and there's lots of people that have access to that. 2X, right?
Yeah, if you can give me a 2X Boy Scout uniform, I will take a picture.
A Scout
saying
leader
I wish
uniform.
I could.
No, we're gonna put it on. I want to put it on the show. It's gonna be good. It's a great idea.
Oh,
You're Mr. Patriotism.
I am very patriotic.
You look great
guy.
in that stuff. You look super patriotic.
Well, I do look like the type of guy that would be wearing it for shoot reasons, like for like real reasons. I do look like that kind of guy. So like when I do wear it, it's like, oh my god.
I don't give a goddamn what's on my clothes. I'd rather have the American flag if anything else. That's the logo I care about.
That's the logo I care about. I care about one goddamn logo, not Nike, not Reebok, just the American fucking flag, okay?
Yeah.
The Constitution, maybe say we the people on it.
Yeah. Done. Shirt's done. That's all I need.
The only logo I need is Thomas Jefferson flexing his muscles. It's cool.
Love it.
Well, that's the show, man. We did it.
Yep, that's Street Fight Radio, the podcast version, the live stream version. Subscribe on Twitch. You're trying to go live on Twitch, right? You want to go big on Twitch, make a splash?
Soon. I'm just going to be on Twitch, but I'm not doing it right away. I am working on it still. I got a lot of work to do this week, but I do plan to be there soon.
Yeah, so follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube. I'm going to put stuff on both of those. I don't know where I'll be streaming and things, but it's coming together. I'm ordering equipment, and we're settling in for the long haul. We have a plan for zines. They're going to be flying out the door, coming very soon. Every two or 3 weeks, you'll be getting a new copy of the zine. So sorry to everybody that paid for them a long time ago. They're coming. But for all the newbies, it's a great time to jump in. $5 a month on Patreon gets access to bonus audio from Brian, bonus zines, digital version of the zines, and also videos, us watching shit. So we have a lot to offer if you want more of what we do. If not, just enjoy the podcast. That's all we really do this for. Is
like and
this
fucking
thing right
subscribe.
here.
You know, like and subscribe is what I always say.
And then I still think this is our best stuff. Like, this is what I get the most excited for. This is what I feel like is the top-notch thing that we do. This is what started the whole thing. But it is fun to have a place like Patreon to go and just goof off and try weird shit and, you know, not always be tied down to, like, you know, flattening the entire hierarchy of the earth, you know?
And the curve.
Yeah,
we're dedicated to flattening the curve. That's just something I've been saying.
we're curve flatteners.
Yeah, that's something I've been saying. So, remember when that was the whole thing? They were like, let's flatten a curve, and now it's like...
We did.
We did flatten a curve?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we flattened the curve.
I think that's why they're opening up, because we're on the other side of the curve. That's why people are comfortable.
I had no idea about that. Well, I mean, that was all they were saying we needed to do.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
Right. So, we'll see what happens, though. I'm going to wait just because...
I'm holding off.
I've smoked enough cigarettes in my life to know that shit that fucks with your lungs needs to stay as far away from me as possible.
Yeah.
I've smoked enough weed.
did hear
I've
that...
had enough... I smoked a blunt at a weed carnival that was probably 18 inches long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not fucking with it. I am
I've smoked pills.
Not doing shit. Yeah, I've smoked a lot of things too.
Yeah, I smoked meth, amphetamines, and all kinds of shit. So I'm going to stay away from the lung shit for now. Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us. I'm going to try to, I'm trying to keep my mental health together. I'm not doing the best. I just am still learning. I'm still a student, but trying not to take on too much, but I hope to keep the content rolling to do more shit in the coming weeks. So I spend a lot of time on Instagram. That's my favorite place. That's where I put my memes. If you're into weird memes that I find, that's Street Fight WCRS on Instagram, and I'll go live on there again soon. Thank you for tuning in and supporting us and letting us do this thing. We got bigger and better coming, including Means TV. The real TV show is happening. We had a writers meeting this week, and we got one planned on Monday. So big things are coming, and I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to get Brian in a fucking Boy Scout uniform.
Gonna be a good time.
Peace.